Welcome, foolish mortals, to another episode of the HitchHiking Host Show. We are your ghost hosts, Wes
and Jenn.
And just like the Black Eyed Peas say, let's get it started in here. Disney will be adding to their Glow with the Show entertainment, adding more items. By the end of 2014, Disney will sell a magical wand, a magical Mickey glove, as well as a Minnie Mouse headband to guests. The technology will now be referred to as Made with Magic. And any shows that offered the Glow with the Show technology will now be advertised as Made with Magic to welcome the new items. Alright, Jen, how popular is the Glow with the Show these days at Walt Disney World?
Not very. I know when it first came out, it seemed like everybody wanted those ears. But I don't see very many pairs now. I don't even see them. I'm sure they're being sold just as much as they were before, but I don't see them, which is fine by me.
Yeah, when I went to California, I thought it was going to be this big thing, and I actually forgot about the whole Glow with the Show. And as I was waiting for World of Color to start, I saw like 1 or 2 ears turn on, and I'm like, oh, that's right, Glow with the Show! I forgot that was a thing. But, yeah, I went into, you go into the stores, and they have the mouse ears, and I didn't see anybody buying them. So I don't, it's not very popular in Disneyland. I'm not sure if it's a little more popular at Disney World.
Because I'm just gonna throw my opinion out there. You're paying what are the ears? $24.95 or something? Yeah. You're paying your own money for somebody else's entertainment. It's not like you can see your ears glow.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's my own thing. I know they sell them for the Osborne lights, and I see more people wearing them there. But that's different. That kind of like adds to the atmosphere, so that's okay.
Right, yeah.
My enjoyment of Glow with the Show is very, very limited.
It's kind of weird in a way that they're going to be selling more, being that the ears don't really sell that much. But, when I do go to Phantasmic and the Electrical Parade even, they're selling light-up things, light-up swords, light-up wands, stuff like that.
Maybe they're thinking it'll broaden their horizons and their audience by selling, like, the gloves, the Minnie Mouse headband, the magical wand.
Yeah.
And people will be like, ooh, I want a magical wand. Earlier this week, Disney's Photopass service made it even easier for you to access your park moments. If you're wearing a magic band while riding certain attractions, your photos will automatically be sent to your Mag Disney Experience account. If you don't have a magic band, you can use the new touch points. After you ride Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, or Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin, you can find your photo on the preview wall and touch your park ticket or memory maker card to the touch point. New photo points are expected to be installed in the 3 other parks by mid-November. Attraction videos will soon be added to the account as well. If you've been on one of the participating attractions in the last 45 days, your photo should be in the experience. All Photopass pictures and videos expire 45 days after being taken, so don't forget to save your memories.
I think that's a pretty good idea that they're linking the pictures to the magic bands. I know our other hitchhiking host, Mandy, told me it freaked her out, like, when she saw that her Buzz Lightyear picture was on her app. She's like, how did that get on there?
We did that when we got our pictures taken with Gaston a couple weeks ago. Because we tried to get a Photopass card, and she's like, no, I'll just scan your magic band. But it wasn't without, like, it took a while. They were lost in cyberspace. So we had to have Disney powers that be help us retrieve our pictures. So I think there's still bugs in the system too.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the system itself isn't perfect, but what technology really is, I guess.
True, especially when it's new. They were having trouble with the magic bands when that first started.
They still have trouble with the magic band.
True. I guess some people still do buy the pictures instead of just taking it with their phone like I normally do.
And I think I've only ever purchased one ride photo in my lifetime. That was only because otherwise people would never believe me that I was actually on that ride, so.
It's a small world?
Yes.
The holiday season is approaching fast. Christmas is coming and the goose is getting fat. And guests will be able to experience a new show for the first time in forever. Frozen Holiday Wish will star Elsa and Anna and will feature appearances by Kristoff and Olaf as well. The show's grand finale will see Elsa use her powers to transform Cinderella Castle into an ice palace each night. A Frozen Holiday Wish can be seen nightly starting November 5th through December 31st, 2014. And yes, it's a miracle. I will be there for that. I definitely plan on checking that show out. Hopefully I will not be at the main entrance of Main Street when I see it. I'll be videotaping. It'll be like, see that little white dot there? That's Elsa. Yeah, so I'll have to get there a little early. Jen, do you plan on seeing the Frozen show?
I'm sitting here shaking my head, only because I know a couple of weeks ago, Mandy expressed her displeasure with all the Frozen stuff, and I was on board with Frozen until Maelstrom, and now this. Okay, enough is enough. I love the Cinderella, and I think they used to call it the Dream Castle with the lights. That's my favorite time of year. But now to make it Elsa related, it's like, come on. Okay, enough is enough. Why does this have to be Elsa? Why can't Cinderella have anything anymore? But, I mean, I love Frozen. I really, really do. But I'm just having... I don't know. I disagree with all of these Frozen changes. I don't like to see them. Only because it's becoming so overwhelming to anybody over the age of 5. Well, actually, I should say over the age of 10. But it's just, enough is enough for the Frozen stuff. Like I love the ice lights, the dream lights I think they're called. But this is too much. Yet another attraction in Disney's Hollywood Studios will soon be closing. It's been confirmed that the legend of Captain Jack Sparrow will come to an end on November 6, 2004, just in time for Wes's vacation. The attraction opened back in November 2012 and gave guests a walkthrough experience inspired by the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Yeah, something else that's actually going to go right. I will be there right before it closes. So this will be my first and last trip through. Jen, I know you said you haven't been on this yet.
No. I've watched it on YouTube, and it's funny because I'm there all the time. But for the longest time, there's always just such a long line, and we're like, oh yeah, no, we're not gonna wait for that. And then we watched a video and we're like, oh, that's all that is? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube video when it first came out, so that was 2 years ago, and I literally, don't remember a thing. I was like, oh, so that's what that is, alright then. So it didn't really leave much of a lasting impression on me.
I think you walk through maybe 1 or 2 rooms, and you're trying to help Jack Sparrow. And I don't remember the plotline. It has something to do with the Black Pearl and fighting against...
Yeah, I remember skeletons for some reason.
Yeah. But I didn't know if they were I don't remember.
I know that's not going to be really mourned, much like some of the other attractions that have been closed recently. Recently, Disney announced that in early 2015, it will be removing the Sorcerer Hat from Disney's Hollywood Studios.
I know there's people that had... How do I want to word this? It's been very divisive among the Disney fans. I know people either love it or hate it, but honestly, it never really bothered me. So, honestly, I don't know. It's just, I'd like to know what they're doing in place, and I know they said, oh, it's gonna be worked out, but to me, it's like, eh.
I don't really care one way or another, but it kind of blocks the Chinese theater for the Great Movie Ride.
For a while, and I know you're not there as much as I am, but for a while they were using the park symbols as identifiers. Like you could see Animal Kingdom had the Tree of Life, Epcot Spaceship Earth, Magic Kingdom. Even on my Disney experience, they have the Sorcerers Hat. But now if they're getting rid of the Sorcerers Hat, where they're gonna, you know what I mean? You kind of take away like the identifying landmark in the park.
I know that at least they still have the Earful Tower and the Chinese Theater if they can use that. I don't really care one way or another, but it does look like a bit of an eyesore.
They'll put a big picture of Elsa, or a big statue of Elsa.
Maybe.
If Wes is lucky. Yeah, I mean, it's oddly placed because there's nothing like, it's kind of cool that you can like walk through it, I guess.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really there, and that like little, like, you can't even call it a gift shop, the little concession stand.
Yeah.
Not much to it. It's kind of sad. So I'd like to see, like, I think I saw pictures of one time, wasn't that like a flower bed that they had there?
I think so.
Yeah, like that would be okay. Like taking Sorcerer Mickey that's out front in the parks and then moving that there.
True. Yeah.
That would be cool.
All right, this week we're going to be continuing our series on the 1964 World's Fair in New York for its 50th anniversary, and this time we're going to be discussing Ford's Magic Skyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Henry Ford II. Welcome to Ford Motor Company's Magic Skyway, an adventure created by the incomparable Walt Disney. A voyage through time and space, from a dark and distant yesterday to a bright and promising tomorrow. May you all have an entertaining trip.
The Ford's Magic Skyway was introduced during the 1964-1965 World's Fair in New York City. Guests were seated in a real Ford model car straight from the assembly line. While in the car, they were able to view different dioramas from various time periods or scenes. At one point in the ride, the Magic Skyway traveled over a small section of the ground walkway before making its return to the show building's big finale.
Walt Disney was focused on the Carousel of Progress at the time, so he didn't directly supervise the Skyway's construction. His vision was for an attraction that entertained and was difficult to come up with at the time. The Imagineers came up with the idea to have the ride vehicle travel through various dioramas. With this idea, the Magic Skyway was born.
As with most Disney rides, a corporate sponsor was needed. Ford put their hat into the ring. Their only request of the rides was that the vehicle be an actual new Ford car. The Imagineers were then faced with the challenge of how to move the vehicles. After watching the way Ford moved their projects around in the factories, their design was created. They created a new type of track chain with wheels spaced every 3 feet. They then welded a metal plate to the undercarriage of the car. This idea was such a good idea for ride vehicle movement that it would again be used on Disneyland's People Mover.
While traveling on the new Ford cars, the guests were taken on a ride through time. It began with a trip through the age of dinosaurs. Guests were taken through scenes of grazing sauropods, a Triceratops family, and a fight between a Stegosaurus and a Tyrannosaurus. Time served as a transition from the dinosaurs to the age of man, where guests were heralded by a caveman as he greeted the rising sun. Some of the other scenes included the caveman on the hunt for a mammoth, one caveman warning another about a predator approaching, the first ancient artist, the discovery of fire, and the invention of the wheel, which included a caveman explaining his invention. A cart of cavemen could also be seen preparing to travel from their cave into the world beyond. Serving as another transitional sequence brought the guests into a futuristic city, and then guests were then brought back to the loading station.
The World's Fair of 1964 also saw 3 other Disney rides, such as the Carousel of Progress, It's a Small World, and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, all of which were given permanent homes at the Disney parks. However, there wasn't enough room for the Magic Skyway. Sad face. The entire ride was scrapped at the end of the fair, but led to many ideas seen in later rides such as the People Mover, Universe of Energy, Spaceship Earth, and World of Motion, to name a few. Walt was dissatisfied with the caveman, leading to only the dinosaurs being salvaged and used as the Primeval World diorama.
Primeval World is a scene along the Disneyland Railroad in Disneyland, California, and also on the Western River Railroad in Tokyo Disney. It features dinosaurs in their supposed natural habitat. In 1966, the Grand Canyon scene along the Disneyland Railroad was expanded to include the Primeval World. You can see dinosaurs such as the pterodactyl, apatosaurs, triceratops, tyrannosaurus, and the stegosaurus. It also features prehistoric creatures such as the giant snail, giant scorpion, and giant dragonfly. The scene of the Tyrannosaurus and Stegosaurus is a historical inaccuracy, as the 2 dinosaurs actually lived millions of years apart. This has led many to believe that this was actually based on the Rite of Spring segment in Fantasia. The other elements of the ride suffered a less fortunate fate, as they were either dismantled to be used in other rides or were completely destroyed.
It's cool that the Magic Skyway went on to inspire other attractions that we mentioned, and it's pretty funny because I just happened to see a video on YouTube of the Disneyland Railroad, and the picture was of the Primeval World, and I'm just like, wait a minute, dinosaurs on the railroad? What? So that was right before my Disneyland trip. So I probably wouldn't have gone on the railroad if I didn't realize that they were on there. And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely going now. And once you know, the train stopped right in the Primeval World, and I was right in front of the T-Rex for about, probably 10 minutes or so.
I'm a history nerd. I know we talk history here once in a while, but I love the history. So for me, one of the most fascinating things is seeing where things in Disney came from and seeing like what they inspire and how it grows and kind of like manifest out of itself. So for me, I think it's cool seeing what came out of it, how it inspired some of the things, and for me, I think it's cool that they were around with the Great Moments of Mr. Lincoln, the Carousel of Progress. I don't know, to me, it's really fascinating to watch some of these rides, some of them be mainstays. I know people make fun of Carousel of Progress, but they've been around. Walt Disney had his hands in those. And it's cool to see it now, even being, not so much Magic Skyway, but being shared with, like, generations, or seeing it taken in parts and saying, oh, hey, because for people that maybe that went on that ride, maybe that's something they can share with their grandchildren. Like, oh, I remember when that was part of the Magic Skyway. So, in my mind, that's what happened. So, for me, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is a good point about the generations and whatnot. I like the idea of the cavemen. You sort of think when you see the cavemen, you think of Spaceship Earth, as it said, and I can definitely see what inspired some of these scenes from some of the other rides from this Magic Skyway. And if the Magic Skyway was around today, it would definitely be something I'd be down for riding. All right, well, that's all the time we've got for this episode. I wanted to say thank you to all of our hitchers on Twitter. We hit over 1,000 happy haunts, 1,000 follows this week, right on Halloween, interestingly enough. So thank you, hitchers old and new.
Okay, so I'm going to do the official duties of signing off. You can follow us. I'm on Twitter at JenMia83. Mandy, who's not available tonight, wasn't available tonight, she's on Twitter at Mandy Disney, and with an I, M-A-N-D-I, Disney. And then Wes, all of his 5,000 links. I'm only going to name 2 of them because they're the ones I know off the top of my head. Sorry, Wes, but that's all you get. You can follow him on Twitter at Wes Alis. Oh, you can also follow our Twitter at HitchHostShow. You can follow us on Instagram at HitchHostShow. You can follow Wes also on YouTube.com/Westside515. Oh yes, we're also on Facebook at the Hitchhiking Host Show.
Don't forget, every like, subscription, follow, whatever, goes one step closer for me doing something I really don't want to do at Disney World. Hopefully, we're gonna do it. Speaking of that, I'm going to get my bags packed right now. I will see you in Disney World. But until next time, don't forget to...
Hurry back.
For another episode, I'm going to Disney World, baby!